Looking to find harmony and work-life balance? Join Coach Anna Joe as she shares practical strategies, empowering mindsets, and inspiring stories to live the life you want to lead on Anna Joe Talks, Work Life for Badasses. Now, here's your host, Coach Anna Joe.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Anna Joe Talks, Work Life for Badasses. I'm Coach Anna Joe and I'm here to challenge the myth of balance and find real harmony in modern life. Today's episode, I have a special guest, one amazing woman, mom of four, corporate leader and trainer, podcaster, productivity expert, and author of the book Secrets of Supermom, How Extraordinary Moms Succeed at Work and Home, and how you can too. A true badass with amazing stories to share with you, Lori Oberbroeckling. How are you? Hello, so good to have you, Lori, here at our podcast, Work Life for Badasses.
Yeah, so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I love it. You know, I think this podcast today, this episode is going to be fire to have your story here, because if I have to have one name of a woman who does it all as a badass, is you, Lori. Come on. I think everybody knows, like, oh my God, now I need to stop and listen to this lady. But Lori, would you like to, I don't know, like introduce a bit more of yourself and tell us your story, whatever you want to start?
Sure. So yes, I am all the things that you just said. I am a corporate leader. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of four. I run Secrets of Supermom, the podcast, and wrote the book and host our society and all of the fun things that I get to do. And I wrote the book during the pandemic. I found that there were moms that were really struggling. And then there were moms that were sort of surviving in a better way. And I just wanted to know, what are they doing differently, right? What am I doing that is working? What am I doing that's not working? And did some interviews and surveys and research and came up with 16 secrets. So I have 16 secrets, 16 chapters in the book. And we talk about all the things that these women that still felt like they had systems, routines, confidence, all those things together. And so it has been a fun journey. The book came out and then it became a podcast. And then we have our society and all these other fun things that we get to do every single day. So really has been an exciting journey. And I know you and I talked about like, oh my goodness, how do you do it all? I promise I don't. In fact, I teach women who want to do it all, how to do it all without doing it all.
Yes.
And we get to dig that apart, right? So that we can reach our goals and get to live the life we want to live without getting burnt out and overwhelmed and just crushed by it all.
Oh my God, I love. And let's add on to this, because you have a full-time, very demanding job, right? So, and you have this side hustle, which is amazing, author and podcaster, but you have a group, you have clients, and you are a mom of four. All right. So let's get this straight, because then you are a very present mom, right? So even if you follow Lori on social media, you can see like the great things that she does. So I'm very curious about like doing it all without doing it all. So could you share more about us? What does that mean?
Yeah, I think we want to do it all, right? And by all, usually we truly mean all the things that are really important to us, right? We want to be the present mom, and maybe we want to have a great career, right? That's true for me, and have an amazing business. Also true for me, right? I want all of those things. But if I truly try to do everything in my life, I am going to drown. And in fact, history, like I wasn't even running the business and thought I was going to drown in some areas, right? Because I was actually believing that I should do it all without help, without asking for help at work, without asking for help at home, without hiring help when I was able to start affording that. And so now I can be a lot more discretionary with my time, right? I can say, okay, is this something that is bringing me joy, improving my life? Is this something that our family should do together versus all the weight being on me? How can I reduce the mental load, right? I get to start asking myself these questions. And this is what we ask ourselves in my groups too. We start to ask ourselves these questions and we realize, oh, I don't actually have to do all the things. I can do all the really important things and I can get support in those other areas. And this takes practice, because it's really hard when you've grown up thinking that mom should do it all, right? I
Yeah.
certainly did in my supermom
Yeah.
household, right? She did all the things and she was amazing.
Yes.
And I thought, oh, I have to do all the things. And when I phrase it and I reframe it to I get to do all the things that I want to do, and I also get to get help in the areas that I want to, then
Mm-hmm.
it has really just changed everything.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Reframing. Oof, that's important. So everybody listen to this. So yeah. So, but tell us about like when you say get to know what are the important things. So,
Yeah.
because sometimes, like especially my clients, sometimes we have these conversations and it's hard to see because it looks like everything is important, right?
Yeah.
So the children, the career, even the community, the volunteer, you know what I mean? All the events coming along. So it's actually a busy schedule. So do you have any kind of tips just to see what could be really the priorities, or could you help us to see like what is really important?
Yeah. So my logic, you guys might be so the same on this. My logical brain likes to tell me I can do everything. And my
Yes.
logical brain likes to go input in, figure it out, right? My
Okay.
logical brain loves to solve problems. And it's like, I could do that. Let me figure out how.
Yeah.
And it has been a recipe for overwhelm and for burnout for me
Yeah.
because my brain will figure out a way, but my body always knows. So when I started actually listening to the pressure in my chest, the pit in my
Mm.
stomach, the hey, can you do, right? Enter whatever it is someone's asking you to do. Immediately, my body knew how I felt about that thing. Even though my brain was figuring out how I could say yes and how I could make it happen, my body was saying, you don't want to do this. This is not how you want to spend your time. This is going to take a lot of your energy, which means you're not spending it on things you love. Listen to me, listen to me. And I wasn't listening to my
Okay.
body.
Yeah.
So now, when I take that pause and say, how do I really feel about this?
Mm-hmm.
It gives me a lot better chance to actually answer and get to say those big yeses. Yes, I would love to do that. Or, you know what? I don't have capacity for that right now. Or, let me see if I can help you find another volunteer. Or, no. Right?
Or
Just
no,
no,
just like a full
all by
sentence.
itself.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I start listening to that, then the things that I'm doing are the things I get really excited about.
Yeah.
Right. The things that do really light me up, the things that do really bring me joy. And I get to fill my life with as many of those as I can.
Okay. Amazing. All right. So I'm very curious, like I think following these type of things that you're talking about, priorities and doing it all without doing it all. But there's someone, right, like you, Lauren, with so much dynamic in career, leadership roles in your corporate and as well in your business, right? So as well as a mom. Let me ask you this. How do you approach balancing your professional responsibilities with your personal life? And
Yeah.
perhaps in the professional will be business and I don't know even know what to define, but let's see professional and personal life. Yeah,
That's right. It is. It's all
it
the
is, right?
things,
Okay.
right? And so it's certainly like if I listed all the things that I do, right? Those things plus all the volunteer activities that I do and the committees that I'm a part of and right, if I said to you like all the things I spend my time on, you would know there is absolutely no way that I could just say I spend 10 hours here and 10 hours here and 10 hours here and my life is balanced. That just would never be true for me. And it's
Oh, yeah.
probably not true for anybody who's listening, right?
Oh my
They
God, I
could
agree.
never say, I'm going to spend 40 hours at work and I'm going to lock that down hard. And then I'm going to go spend 40 hours with my kids and my life will be perfectly balanced. It won't. It will never feel perfect, even if the time is perfect. So I always say balance is a feeling, right? Balance is a feeling. If I feel balanced, it probably means I'm spending most of my time in a way that feels valuable to me. Whether that means this week I'm traveling for work and working 60 or 70 hours, and next week I'm taking time off and we're spending spring break at the zoo. Like it is going to be an ebb and a flow. And for me, I'm really looking, do I feel balanced overall? Not in any minute, not in any second, not even in any day or any week, but overall, do I feel like I get to spend my time the way that I want to? And if the answer is yes, then I feel balanced. And if the answer is no, then I get to start asking myself some questions to help me get closer.
I love that. I love that because that is really what I call I define that harmony, right? So not living by an equation of time, but by an equation of purpose. And oh my
That's
God, you explained that so well. So
yeah.
good. Thank you. Thank you, Laurie. But let's keep the conversation. And I think you are such a badass in this world, like, living the life on your own terms. So I'm curious about something that how you define this. So what's the most badass thing you've done? Okay, like in the past year or so or longer, right? So can you walk us through the decision-making process behind it as well?
Yeah, I think it has to be writing the book, right? Because
Mhm.
many of us say we want to write a book, right? And since I was
Yes.
little, I would write stories and I thought it would be so fun to be an author. And I even said when I was in college, I am not going to, if I get married, I'm not going to change my name if I'm published. If I have something published, I'm not going to change my name. Silly me. I was crazy town. So I did not have anything published. I changed my name. You heard it's Oberbroeckling. Yes, I took that name voluntarily from my husband. My name used to be Whitney. It was very easy. Now it's my middle name. And so I wasn't published. And so I kind of thought, okay, this is now maybe just a pipe dream, right? Like it's something that would be cool, but I have no plan. I have no timeline. I have no nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this idea for this book. And I feel like I talk about Big Magic, the book by Elizabeth Gilbert,
Yes.
that where like she talks about ideas like being energy kind of, right? Where it like bangs into you. And if you don't take it and run with it, then it's gonna just go bang into someone else. And I feel like that's sort of how this book was. All these ideas came to me so quickly. I wrote it so fast, right? I wrote it in 34 days, a whole
Uh-huh.
book. And that's not like a lot of
No.
time for someone who is a full-time mom. And it was right
Yes.
after the pandemic and who is working full-time and has a
Yes.
husband and right. It's not a lot of time. And so it felt like it just kind of Big Magic style came and hit me. And so then I had to go through the process of self-publishing and figuring it all out. And how do I get this book
Mm-hmm.
out into the world? How do I share it? And so I look back now and think, wow, she was very brave.
Yeah.
Lori of a couple of years ago was for sure brave. Wow, she did a lot. And
Yes.
she taught me to be braver as I go. So I keep learning to be braver and braver. And so that's probably my biggest badass thing, I would say.
Wow, I think it's a super badass. But I'm curious to learn. So when you published the book, um, did you have support or you did figure it out by yourself? Or you have
I
support so someone to
I had a
help you?
coach. I had
Okay,
a
okay.
coaching
That's was
program. Yep. So and I think like there are so many things you can do on your own, right? We can
yeah.
Google anything, but if we want to get the
Okay, yeah, yeah.
easier, faster, like smoother, less stressful way, working with a coach is how we do it, right? So
Yes.
whether that's writing a book or changing careers or getting better with my time management, whatever it is, it everything is possible on your own, but things are easier when we have
Yeah.
someone saying, "Hey, what about this?" Or "Did you remember this?" Or "What about let's reframe and ask a different question."
Yes.
And so I'm a big fan of working with a coach, especially in areas where you're struggling or you're just not sure what the next steps are.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that you bring that up because it's so true. So
Yeah.
true. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually now
We
I'm
love
working with
coaches.
a coach. I'm working with a coach, a book coach. That's why I'm on the process. All right. So literally, that's why I was like kind of selfish asking the
That's
question.
right.
How did you do that so quick?
Yes.
But
Yep.
like so fun that question. All right. So I'm curious as well. So, and here coming on the super expert of productivity, hacks and how to doing it all without doing it all. But could you share some of your strategies and habits that you may have developed to maintain, right, this sense, that feeling, like you say, of balance? All right.
Yeah.
I call harmony
Yeah.
between your work and life, even like in
Yeah.
the high demanding periods, like last week, right? You're talking about that, right? So could you
Yeah.
share with
Yeah.
us?
Sure. Yeah. So last week we were talking just before we started recording that I had just come back from a funeral and a business trip, and my husband had to leave unexpectedly for health issues in his family, and I got sick, and we had a challenge on top of just my normal life. And so last week was rough, right? We moved our interview because I was sick and
Yes,
I
yes,
needed more time, right?
yes.
And so sometimes things like that happen. And I will tell you that my systems and routines are super
Okay,
important to me. One is a very short morning routine. It doesn't,
okay,
it's not fancy. It's just a few things in the morning that
okay,
ground me to my day, right? One of the pieces of that I'll just share because I love this one. And anytime I tell a friend about this, they apply it in their own life. So I know it's powerful. And
okay,
that is three things that I am grateful for from the day before. So not three
Okay.
things I'm grateful for in general,
Okay.
specific things I am grateful for that happened in the day before, and I write them down briefly, quickly, right? It's just a very fast way for me to remind myself that every day has the gifts, even on the hard days, right? Last week, when I was sick and my husband was gone and we had a big challenge, it was not an easy week for me, but there were
Yeah.
always things that I could notice, right? There were
Yes.
always things that I could say, yes, I am lucky to have that. And then it teaches me to look for them all the time. So that's one thing that's part of my morning routine.
Oh,
My
nice.
other thing, my biggest system, and the thing that we do in our society, the thing that I think is just the most important thing, is a weekly planning process. We sit down, we do it for 45 minutes. You could do it in 20, and we plan out the week ahead. And doing that, so even in the week where everything went awry, I knew exactly what the week looked like. I knew what I could move, right? What I could delay, like our interview, right? That was not
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
major
Yeah.
impact, so we could move it. I knew what I could delete entirely. I knew what I had to do that week and had to focus on, and I could get rid of the rest. If I had been living by the seat of my pants and planning every day and trying to figure it out, I
Oh,
would have
yeah.
never been able to manage that. And
Yeah.
so, even in the chaos, I could manage the shifts. I could figure it out, and without a lot of extra stress, right? Without a lot of extra overwhelm, I could figure that out. So that's the power of weekly planning. That is my number one system that I just could talk about
Hmm.
all day long, and
Wow.
that I love so much.
So, and how can you explain this? Like you know that you described it personally, but I think that's why I would love to you to share here as well regarding
Yeah.
to your weekly planning, right?
Yeah.
So, how does it look like? How long does it take when you do it? So, like, give a little bit of hints.
Yeah.
How does it
So
go
when
for
we
you?
do it in our group, it takes about 45 minutes because I do a little teaching, right? I get
Hmm.
very chatty, you can probably tell. But if I do it by myself, it only takes me 20 minutes if I'm just doing it for me.
Okay.
But it's basically asking myself some key questions about the previous week. What did my energy look like? What was my goal? Did I achieve it? What do I need to change for next week, right? And then I look forward into the next week. The number one thing we do, the very first thing, is plan for energy management. And that means
Oh, yes.
I should be getting sleep, food that powers my body. I should be moving my body in a way that I can, and I should be connecting with humans I love. If I'm doing all those things and I'm planning for those things first, then my energy is higher for everything else. So prioritizing that. And then I get to plan out my week. I get to decide what I'm doing. I'm not living from a to-do list. I'm living from an actual plan, a list, a I time block, but not everybody in our group does, right? Sometimes people just like to say morning and afternoon and evening. Fine. Some people like to just time block a few things. Fine. And then I am like very like pro time blocker, so I know what I have scheduled for most of my days. And by doing that, I know exactly what to expect, and I know I have the time to do it because I'm not creating a list of 40 things and hoping I might have enough time, right? Hope is
Yeah.
not a strategy. I am not hoping I have enough time.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I have enough time because I planned it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm curious, and because you have a side hustle and you have your full-time job, which is a very demanding full-time
Yeah.
career. So how you manage those calendars? Is separated? You
Yeah.
put like job, how you do it? I'm asking because this is part of the questions when
Yeah.
we have both, and I leave that, and I'm curious to know how you do that.
Yeah, so I actually teach this,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll share what the teaching is that many of us are hybrid users, and by that I mean we have some paper version and some digital version of a multitude of things, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you my example because I think it's just it's very clear what I mean. I use an Outlook calendar at work because it's shared with people on my team.
Okay.
I use a Cozy calendar, which is an app that I share with my family because my husband and I have used it for 10 years. It works really well for us. My
Yes.
big kids have access when they got phones. They can put their own stuff in there and we share it. So if you have a Google Calendar, same concept, right? We have that. And then I have a paper planner that I like to keep personal stuff in. And once a week during weekly planning, I
Okay.
pull all of these calendars together. I look at
Okay.
everything together. So, am I looking at my stuff plus my husband's stuff plus my work stuff plus my business stuff plus my kids' stuff? Yes. I'm looking at all of it together because
Together.
that's my life, right? My life isn't work and then home and then the business in these compartments. My
Yes.
life is completely overlapping. So by being able to look at it all together, I know my capacity. I know when there is need for help. I know when I need to totally restructure the entire week because it's going to be a hot mess, right? I get to know all that stuff. So that's how I do it. And I've been doing that way for years, and it is like clockwork and it works.
Oh my God, so fun. So you have two calendars, shared calendars, and then you have your own. So
Yep.
when
And
you
then we
have your
just pull it
nails
together.
and go to the hairdressers, their
All of
salon,
it.
how you do is in your cozy calendar or in
So
your plan?
both.
Like,
So I pull everything together into the hard copy planner calendar, but those things I put in my cozy calendar
okay,
unless it's during work hours, and then I put it in my work calendar
okay,
if I'm going
okay.
to be taking off time for that. But if assuming that it's like on a weekend, right, then I
That's so
have it
fun.
on our family calendar because I want my family to know I won't be present during those hours because I have an appointment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. And how you track your sleep? Do you track your sleep?
I do. So we have a smart bed that
You have a
tracks it
smart
for
pet. I
us.
know. That's why I knew that I could ask those things.
My husband is like a super tech nerd. He likes tracking all the things. So he has an Aura ring plus
I
he
do have an
uses the
order
bed.
ring. That's why I was
Yes,
asking.
Aura
Like,
ring. Yeah, Aura ring is a great way to do it. If you have an Apple Watch, I charge mine at night and I don't wear it for sleeping, but a
me
lot of people
neither.
wear theirs for sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think there's lots of ways to do that, but sleep is important. And I used to think sleep was like secondary. I
Me
would get
too.
4 hours a
Yeah.
night. I thought it was like no big
And
deal.
yeah.
But when I really started taking care of my body, working out as I should, eating as I should, I needed more sleep. I needed to
Yeah.
sleep the right amount so that I want my brain to be on fire all day, every day. I want to just rely on this body and this brain all day,
I love
and I
it.
need it. So
I
I
love it
pay
so much.
attention to all the
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
so that I can show up that way that I want to all day.
That's it, Lori. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I bet you have a smart bed. I didn't even know that was
I know.
that
I
tracks
am
what
not
the
sponsored by
temperature.
8 Sleep, but it is an 8 Sleep.
Oh
It is an
my
8 Sleep
God,
smart
that's
bed.
amazing. I didn't know about that. The smart bed. Love it.
That's
I
right.
always like, I think the first time because we met already for a while,
Yep.
you said that you have like the calendar, you have as well
Yes.
something like in your kitchen that everybody
Digital
shares.
calendar
Is
on the
that
wall in the
funny one?
kitchen. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so that shares visually to all of our family, all of our
Mhm.
key activities that are coming up and our entire calendar for the next week. And then weather and time and all that stuff too. But yes, so Skylight is a company that has a similar concept. But my husband created ours and it's in our calendar and we
Oh
all
my
love it.
God.
We all get to use it. Yeah.
That's so cool. So
Yeah.
see, we kind of like I can imagine like in the fridge or just like in a board in the kitchen, right? Like where the common things with the big calendars. But we have here an option, be digital with the
That's right.
weather. Oh my God, Lori, I love this so much.
It's so good.
I really do. Okay, thank you so much. Let's go now for a last question, and then we go for the fire chat questions that I want to go. And then we need to know where to find you and what you have to offer, right? So, but tell us like from badass to badass here at the Energy Talks Work Life for Badasses, what would be the advice you'd like to give to our listeners to feel empowered and confident and living their lives, with all the things, not doing all the things?
Yeah. So mine is going to be really simple. And that is if you are not already feeling that way, right? If you're not already feeling motivated and confident and excited about the life that you're building, stop. I want you to just stop. We're just going to pause because we are so good at barreling forward and we are not great, right? Like badass, excited women, we are really good at planning the next thing, moving forward,
Yes.
planning the next vacation, getting the next promotion, right? We're barreling, but we very rarely stop and go, is this
Yeah.
really what I want? So if
Yeah.
you're not feeling those emotions about around it, right? Stop and let's start to ask some questions to find out what you are excited about driving forward and what might be able to take a back seat so that you can get back into that motivated, confident, productive, happy self.
Oh my God, that's so good. Thank you. Stop. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. So good. Thank you. So, are you ready now? Like
Oh
for
my goodness,
the
I think
questions?
so.
Like, oh, let's go. Favorite superhero?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Favorite place?
Oh, probably Maui.
Favorite music?
Ooh, all kinds. Love music, all kinds.
Favorite book?
Ooh, of Mice and Men.
Mm. Favorite dessert?
Ice cream. Chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream by Haagen-Dazs. If you have a precise one that you're going to be serving me, that's what I
Yes.
like the most.
Because you never know if you're going to invite me and we're going to know. I know what to take and how
We're going to be
it
hanging out,
happened.
then yes, put that in the freezer.
This was so good, Lori, so good. But tell us, where we can find you and what you have to offer for all our badasses that listeners that are here now with us.
Yes. So secretsofsupermom.com is the best place to find all the things, the podcast, the book, our programs, our groups, all of my socials, all of those things. And then our biggest thing that's coming up is in June, we have our Supermom Summer Camp that Anna Jo will be part of. And
Yes.
I feel like it is going to be the most fun year ever. This is our 4th year. And we are really leaning hard into our summer camp theme. And oh my goodness, so many amazing camp counselors, so many amazing bonuses, so many amazing prizes to win. It is going to be so fun. So that is our next thing coming up. So we would love for everyone to join us.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Lori, for being here with us. This was amazing. It was fire, let me tell you. It was so, so good. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to Anna Jo Talks Work Life for Badasses. I hope today's episode has inspired you to live life on your own terms. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you can do hard things. See ya.
Bye.
Looking to find harmony and work-life balance? Join Coach Anna Jo as she shares practical strategies, empowering mindsets, and inspiring stories to live the life you want to lead on Anna Jo Talks, Work Life for Badasses. Now, here's your host, Coach Anna Jo.